Hi guys, Assalamu alaikum. Today's session is about Salesforce well-architected framework, an introduction to that, and ethical AI. So before we go in the depth of it, let me just quickly introduce myself. I am Nageen Hussain, and I have been studying and living in Pakistan most of my life. And then I have moved to Australia as a skilled immigrant. Before I came to Australia, I was working as a senior business analyst at one of the offshore centers in Pakistan, working for European and American markets. So I applied for my skilled immigration to Australia, came here, and then now I'm working as a solution architect. My journey with Salesforce started in 2011, and it has been a long one. The reason why I am interested in AI is because I have graduated from NED as a computer and information systems engineer, and my specialization area was artificial intelligence and robotics. So let's talk about Salesforce well-architected framework. And here the person standing in the picture is just me presenting at the Dreamforce 2023, one of the ethical AI solutions that I was given there to build and present. And on the right, that's me, and on the left is my badge, which shows iCloud AI. Sorry, I'll take one more minute on this. So at the top, you can see a well-architected here you can see well-architected badge, which is actually some badge that was being given at Dreamforce 2023. And at the other side, you can see a Ladies Be Architect Keep On Going badge, which is basically a charity. And I would really encourage women and anybody who is interested in becoming an architect to reach out to this organization because they really help people. And I also advocate for them. Let's get studying. So SW is just a short version of Salesforce well-architected framework. First of all, establishing the very basics. What is a framework? A framework is a method of doing things. Now that Salesforce has become a platform, what they're trying to do is they're trying to introduce standardized methods of implementing it and documenting it so that people can easily understand, and we can have templates that can be used to quickly spin around solutions. Salesforce well-architected framework has three parts. First is it's trusted, it's easy to implement, and third, it's adaptable. On the slide, you can see that at the very top, we have a little bit more details about these three categories. So trusted is basically a solution that protects business and stakeholders. Basically, if you have a little bit of knowledge about Salesforce, you would know that we have to do a security model when we implement Salesforce. So that covers organizational security, session security, which means you can log in and log out, and data security, that your data has been recorded well and saved without any problems as it needs to be. Compliance basically means that when an organization has a legal structure, then we should be able to adhere to their laws, and ethically it should be correct. So for example, we should only, if we are an advertising company, we should only show ads that are socially acceptable. Accessibility is for everybody who has some kind of special need. For example, some people have low vision, so we should be able to enhance the images for them. And then it is reliable, because from trust.salesforce.com, guaranteeing the performance and the safety of the data, they actually provide a reliable platform to live through. It's easy to implement. An easy solution delivers business value fast. It is it is intentional, so we basically have a strategy behind it. We just don't implement anything. We work with the business, and so the architects, when I say we, basically that means architects and the functional consultants. They work with the business to define a strategy which is easy to use, easy to maintain, and it's easy to implement as well. It's automated. Most of it is automated because in Salesforce we have got a number of methods of automating the manual processes to increase the efficiency, and that those processes provide data integrity as well because they are in the same platform. So Salesforce has multiple clouds that can be integrated to give one solution, and the data is not leaving the platform, it's just staying in there, and it has the referential integrity. Then it is engaging. It's because uh, Salesforce started as a customer relationship management system. The reason it's engaging is because it has it it monitors the customer behavior, it monitors the standard users behavior, it tries to, with the AI coming into play and Einstein recommendations into play, it helps customers and standard users experience become better. It's very adaptable. If you We used to say, if you know how to use Facebook, you can actually do Salesforce. So that is the easiest of the things. And today, I think every teenager also knows how to use Facebook and social media. So from where I see, everybody can implement Salesforce to a certain extent. It's a resilient system. Uh, and it is also composable, so it's modular. You don't have to get the whole of it, a big package, and you can also get a few packages. Um, then let's move on to the next one. Okay, so where to access Salesforce well-architected framework? Salesforce well-architected framework can be accessed from this website, architectsalesforce.com/well-architected. So I'm just going to click here and show you, excuse me, I'll stop sharing this screen and share the other screen. Please let me know. Okay, now that it's visible, I will just zoom it a little so we can have a better view. Salesforce Well Architected is the website that allows us to have an easy access to these things. Rather than me creating a separate slideshow, I would just demonstrate it off the website. So Well Architected, in the Well Architected, the first tab shows you the overview, and then it digs deeper into how it is trusted, easy, and adaptable. So when we pitch for clients, we should try to pick data from here and then mention this as the reference because it's a reliable and authentic place to quote from. For those who are actually in the implementation industry, they will be very interested in looking at the diagrams. So Salesforce has a lot of pre-built diagrams. This actually reduces their workload, especially for architects, by at least 50% because these are pre-built templates that you can simply extract and work on. Then we have template galleries. So in the template galleries, we already have a lot of built items to just download and work from. And then finally, we have design patterns. Design patterns are very important parts of this architect because sometimes as the cloud changes, things change. For example, this one, bidirectional data replication with Heroku Connect, is very specific to Heroku, while you can have other options as well. Now, and then there are industry-based solutions as well. So this is a very detailed document. I'm not just covering the whole of it on this call because that would be too much. So keeping it short, event-driven architecture, decision guides are basically very important things to go through. Building forms, and when you will actually navigate through this website, you will come across the resources tab, which has the basics of architect. So if you are an aspiring architect, you can learn from here. You multi-tenant, you can have the multi-tenant architecture um, documents and learnings. Artificial intelligence, which is a very important and new budding area, and it's highly it's where Salesforce is putting a lot of emphasis, so it's highly sought. Finally, at the connect, you have a lot of help available. You can actually connect with the Salesforce architects, and all of us are most of the time available to respond. So let's have a look on what we have next. Again, I will have to swap my screen. Allow me to share the other one again. Share. Okay, let's talk about ethical AI. I don't know if I can ask questions, but I just want to know, does anybody here who is not aware of what is ethical AI? Is there anybody here who's not aware of what's ethical AI? So I think everybody's good. Just so that we have a common understanding, let's just establish a basic. So AI means artificial intelligence. Ethical AI means using it for the benefit of humans. So AI could be ethical AI means we can use it for the hospitals and other things. For detection of disease, it's a very common method of detecting disease at the moment. And for climate prediction as well. Why should we do it? Why should we do an ethical AI work? Like, for example, if we have a situation, why should we consider ethical AI? So the answer for that is when Salesforce surveyed its business and other people, they found out that the 90% of the customers, actually consumers of the actual companies, their clients, wanted the company to be responsible for the state of the world. And 72% wanted the companies to advocate for human rights. And 80% of the AI executives are struggling to establish the process to ensure responsible AI use. And the reason for this is because it is so vast, it is so generative that it is difficult to put in control. However, it is important to have the right thing. So, how can we build trusted AI solutions? To build trusted AI solutions, the first thing is to set the basics. These are the basics that Salesforce has standardized and set up as anybody who's building an AI solution needs to have these 5 factors in place. The first factor is that they should be responsible to safeguard human rights and protect the data we are entrusted with. They should be accountable. So the designers of the system, they should seek and leverage feedback for continuous improvement, and they should adhere to regulations. For example, let's say if we have a traffic sign which is like a bright silver color and reflects a lot of sunlight, that wouldn't really help anybody driving on the road because it will actually distract the driver. So the system needs to be accountable for designing such road sign. Transparent means the user should be able to give the feedback to the system that has been designed, and the system should be able to adjust itself. Empowering means it should enable humans rather than cause them damage. And inclusive means that it should respect the societal values of all impacted. So, for example, if it's a system which is being, let's say it's a system that is being run for children, then it should be inclusive of all the children, not just girls, not just boys, but all the children should be able to enjoy it. So once we are familiar with these principles, then we can look at the life cycle. For the life cycle, the first thing that we need to know is that AI maturity model is all about asking ourselves questions. We need to have that conscience to say that ethically, I need to create a solution which is ethically correct. And for that, you need to have that empathy and that human element to your design. So at the very beginning of the software development life cycle, where we are setting the scope to even decide what needs to be built and why, we should ask the question. When we are setting the story, we should ask the question, should this exist? For example, should an automated car exist without any surveillance? Or should a 14-year-old be given a car to drive, an automated car? So, should this exist? And if you say yes, it should, then what are your assumptions? What are we thinking that, okay, if we say that the 14 years old can drive, then are we thinking that they are going to be responsible? We are assuming them to be responsible. And then we have to know the audience. Who are we designing for? So, for example, children or adults or senior citizens, and then knowing your risk. So basically, everything is being very transparent and kept out in open to evaluate that whether we need to do this. Once the story, we have got our story, what needs to happen, then we start sprinting on it. Sprinting basically means building. So in the building, we build and we review who will be impacted. If we build something, who is going to be using it and who is going to be at a disadvantage of its present? Who is going to be excluded? Who is not going to get it? What is the consequence of this scanning? Are we going to get a reaction from the people, or are we going to get a response from the people? Is it helping them become better? Is it empowering, or is it damaging? And finally, we need to do that research from users and we need to get their feedback. Then the second phase after building is test. In the testing, we do the bias assessment in data set and model. So bias assessment is, hi, I've just got a direct message from somebody. Hi, Deepak. Okay, I think Deepak needs some help. Deepak, I'll put my LinkedIn. I can't see your chat. I'll put my LinkedIn. Okay, Deepak, I'll put in my LinkedIn in the chat, and you can reach out to me there. So, sorry. So definitely, Deepak, I'll let you know. And for the test, so bias assessment is basically, bias means where we are favoring one thing and not the other. So for example, if there's an India-Pakistan match, definitely we are going to favor Pakistan, right? Because of our own reasons. That's not a bias, that's just our liking for it. But basically, when we favor one thing over the other, that's called bias. But when we are designing solutions, we can't have a bias, right? So that's why we have to do a bias test. And then we have to do an ethical red teaming. So basically, that means we have to make sure that we are not overly showing customers data where it doesn't need to be. We are only saying things, doing things, projecting things which are ethically correct. And then we are taking community's feedback to make sure that we are doing the right things. Finally, we release it with the people to the people, and then we do risk mitigation. So the types of mitigations we do are bias mitigation. If somebody comes and says, I don't like XYZ, so I'll give an example here, although we are short on time. So my husband didn't like one of the muscle cars that they had posted because it had something written like for the weak-hearted. So he wrote to the company, I think that was a Mustang ad, and he wrote to them and said, I did not like that you said it like that, and they actually changed the whole campaign because he was able to raise it with them that as a community member, I feel that it's a bit favoring of those who are younger generations or who don't have any cardiac problems. Mitigation also is about retraining the model. So we have to, when we make AI models, we have to keep them generative, retrain them, and we have to compare to threshold. Finally, we have to launch them again, and then we have to publish model cards and post launch assessments, logging, and community feedback. Community feedback is very important. Prompt engineering is very important, to prompt people to respond, not to prompt people to react. And that was all from me. Are there any questions? If there aren't any questions, then I'll leave the room with the
Yeah, thank you so
moderator.
much for the session.
You're welcome. I'll leave it with you for the raffle, the last 5 minutes.
Yeah, sure.